Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and beer.
and beer. I'm not even going to try and figure out which episode this is because we don't know. We don't know.
We're completely lost.
Yeah, we are. We don't know. It it might be episode 17, it might be 16, it might be 30, who knows?
Right.
Until we can get that Joseph Paul Franklin episode out, which
Yeah,
by the
we're a
time
little behind. It's my fault.
Yeah. Well, we're not really behind. It's just, I mean, we're still ahead, but you know, well, Joseph Paul. By the time, when people hear this, Joseph Paul Franklin will already be out, because hopefully that's the next episode that we drop. But we recorded like 2 episodes since we started recording since we did the Joseph Paul Franklin episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of slacking on that one. I'll get it done. I promise.
It's going to be a long ass episode. It probably should have been 2 parts, but yeah, there's just really no way to.
It still might be. It just depends on how it goes.
Well, if you make it into 2 parts, then we'll be 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I'll see how it is. Once I get it all edited up and together, I'll see how long it is, and we may split it up. We might not. Who knows?
Yeah, just leave it in there. Just leave it in there.
You know, I'll jump off that bridge when I get to it.
Meow. You got me saying that now, you asshole.
Yeah, well, you know.
Anyway, that's Todd.
And that's Bill.
And what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking vodka Tito's because I was too lazy to get up and go to the store.
Well, I'm drinking Bud Light.
Shocker.
And we got a fun one. We got a doozy of an episode. We had another topic slated to record tonight, but like just 2 days ago, I ran across this story. I'm just like, no, I want to do this one now. So
right on.
And what we're talking about, it's another cult, and people apparently like the first, the other 2 cult episodes that we've done. So here's another cult episode. But
yay, cults!
Yay, cults! But I was looking around Spotify and everything for cases to cover, new podcasts to listen to, and stuff like that, because I'm pretty much caught up on every podcast that I listen to. And I come across this cult. It's called the Overcomers Ministries. And the cult leader is RG Stair. And if there's only 2 episodes on Spotify about this cult, which is crazy. As crazy as this story is, I mean, this is another story like the Ashleys, the Ashley gang, where it's like how is this not well known?
Right.
And it's just crazy. Now, the first episode, the first podcast that I found, I listened to the episode and I was just like, okay, we're covering it. And that one was called Carolina Crime. And then I looked for more, and there's only one other podcast that covers it, and that podcast is called Say What You Mean. And
okay.
And it's an interview where the host is interviewing these 2 people that actually made a documentary about this cult, and a celebrity specifically which we'll get to. And this ties into like it's a hip hop celebrity, and this ties into like a big mystery of that particular genre. So it's weird. So how this story isn't very well known, you'll understand when we get to the explanation. But it's like, how in the hell is this not like one of the most well known cults, especially when you factor in the star power,
Right. Yeah.
And so I listened to that interview and everything, and it's really good. Now I Googled the people's names, and I've got the people's names later on when we start talking about that podcast and everything. I Googled their names trying to find the documentary. Apparently it's not out yet, and they say in the podcast that that it's finished, but it's being shopped right now. But that episode was released a few months ago, so I guess that they're still trying to sell it.
All right, yeah.
But I'm gonna be keeping my eye out for it because I want to watch it.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah, and this and looking for sources and everything, look for the research and everything. It's like really all the Wikipedia has the most information all in one place. So yeah, so I used
gotta love Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's great with some things, and you know what? I mean, we're having good luck with Wikipedia. Yeah, because sometimes Wikipedia helped me out on the Faith Assembly episode, and it helped me out on this one, and it's helped me out on a couple others. So like some things they hit the ball out of the park with, others, not so much.
Yeah, well, I guess it just depends on who decides to put information into the Wikipedia. That's the only problem with Wikipedia is anybody can add something to it, and it's like, all right, is that true, or is that just a crazy person?
Right. So, anyway, the Overcomers Ministries with RG Stair, and this takes place in Canadas, South Carolina, which is in the Low Country area of South Carolina near Waterboro. Waterboro is the closest town to Canadas, but Canadas is like this it's like a one stoplight town. It's really small. Yeah. I've been through it. I've driven through Canadas, and it's just like blink and you'll miss it.
Oh, wow.
It's like one of those. It's on South Carolina Highway 60 and 15, and that's in the area of South Carolina with Charleston and Hilton Head Island. I lived on Hilton Head Island for a couple years, and I really do love the Low Country in South Carolina. It's gorgeous there. There's a lot to do, and I like South Carolina as a whole until I started venturing upstate. There's a serial killer that came from Sumter, South Carolina, where I lived for a few years with my ex-wife. And it's not surprising that this particular serial killer came from there.
One of those kind of places, huh?
Yeah, but we'll cover that in that episode. So,
yeah,
and his name is escaping me at the moment, but he's one of the well-known ones, though.
So, well, we'll get there.
So RG Stair was born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on May 3rd, 1933. His full name was Ralph Gordon Stair, which is where the RG comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me as a guitar player, I don't like him using RG because RG is an Ibanez model.
That's your favorite Ibanez.
That is my favorite Ibanez. So now it's like whenever I play that guitar, I'm like, oh, I'm playing a cult leader. Thanks, you fucking asshole.
Right.
But it doesn't mean Ralph Gordon. It means Roadstar Guitar. So red flag number one. ORG, he decided as a little kid, like 5-6 years old, that he wanted to be a preacher. As a kid. Now most kids, they want to go out there and ride their bikes and all that stuff and, play games and, shoot BB guns at McDonald's and stuff like that. And
yeah, most kids want to grow up and be like astronauts or firemen,
Right. No. I've never heard of a kid that says, "You know what? I want to be a pastor." Well, Jim Jones might have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure it happens. I mean, it has to happen because,
right.
We have them. So, but
True.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not something you hear about a lot.
No. So, he was very much into church and everything. He would, he was going to all the, he was as much into church as Joseph Paul Franklin was in the, in his early days, except Joseph Paul Franklin didn't become a preacher or a cult leader. He became a freaking Nazi, freaking serial killer.
Yeah, well, you know.
I keep doing it, God damn it! Old Nazi Joe.
Old Nazi Joe.
Hopefully that episode will be out before this one, before we release this one. Otherwise, people won't have any fucking clue what we're talking about.
It will be. I'll get it done. It'll be done. It'll be out next week.
So, being a pastor was his life goal, and he became an ordinated. Here
Stop
we
making
go.
up words, Bill. Stop making up words.
Hey, you did it in the last episode with the Richard Ramirez episode. Wait, you didn't make that up. Somebody else made that up.
Yeah.
What was it? The jizza spill?
Fuck, I don't even remember.
How can you not remember?
A lot's happened since then.
You had that right there, ready to go. You did not even knowing that I was going to bring that up, and boom, it was right there.
Yeah, well, I must have been really on the ball that night.
So he.
What was I drinking that night? Were we drinking that night? I don't even fucking remember.
I was. You were.
We were drinking Bud Light. That's right, because that's the one. Never mind.
Yeah,
that's the one where I said it's a Bud Light kind of night.
Yeah, and the word that you came up with came from that TV show, not necessarily the news.
Oh, the Nizzlebrill. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And before we go,
yeah, okay, I remember.
Before we go any further, Flaccid Jizzless, the black metal tambourine man.
Yeah.
He must have heard our episode.
Oh.
And liked it because we did play 2 of his songs, but
somebody liked it, so we're not getting copyright claimed.
No, we're not getting copyright claimed. But he sent me an autographed freaking tambourine.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I posted pictures of it on social media when it came in, and it's there. It's got his logo on it, and then there's an autograph.
Nice.
Hey, thank you, Flaccid.
Thanks, man. You rock.
Appreciate that. And he tore that tambourine up.
Right.
So anyway,
Flaccid Jizzless, what a name! I love it.
So anyway, he was ordained as a Methodist minister at 17 or 18 years old.
Mm.
So, yeah, mission accomplished.
Right.
So, but what happens with these pastors, these really charismatic pastors and everything? Every cult leader, Hobart Freeman, he didn't like the way that the traditional teachings went, so he began teaching his own interpretation of the doctrine.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So, red flag number 2.
Right.
So he would take the Methodist teachings and everything, skew them to however he wanted to do it, but he also brought in the fire and brimstone aspect of it, the revelations, the end times. That was a recurring theme, which wasn't really. That's not really an angle that the Methodists go for. They don't really do that. I mean, they'll talk about it and everything, but they're not. Like Pentecostals more. Like that, the fire and brimstone and blah blah blah, and
yeah, all
that, the revelations. But all the churches teach it, but like the Pentecostals, I believe it's the Pentecostals, but they among others, go like really crazy with it, beating you over the head with like, okay, everybody's going to burn in hell and all that stuff. And so, but he was charismatic, they all tend to be charismatic. He could rule a crowd. He was a great speaker. Kind of like every cult leader, like Jim Jones, like old Hef, Hobart Freeman.
Hef, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to be to get the people to follow you. I mean, you can't just be some like humdrum dude and get a whole bunch of people to follow you. You got to be.
I mean, I do good with notes in front of me and everything as far as like doing this podcast. Yeah, I do a good job, but I wouldn't be able to get up there on stage and just start pushing my beliefs on people and have people just go along with it. I mean, if they already believed it in the first place, that's one thing, but I'm not going to be able to convert somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you got to be that kind. You got to have that charisma about you, that bravado kind of a.
Yeah.
You know, like just make them believe you.
Our buddy Chris Long.
No matter how crazy you are.
Our buddy Chris Long could be a cult leader if he wanted to be.
Yeah, he probably could. Thank God he's not. Thank God he focused his energies in other directions.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, he probably could.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, because he when he talks, he draws you into what he's saying. You know, and
yes, he's definitely that guy that can like pull you into.
Mm-hmm. But he's genuine though. He's genuine. He's a good guy. He's not out to screw anybody over. He's not out to change anybody's beliefs or anything like that. You know, I mean he's into ministry now, and he does go on missions and stuff like that, and he's like witnessing to people and everything. But he's not, if somebody doesn't want to hear it, he's not going to beat them. He's not going to say, oh well, if you don't do what's written in this book, or you're going to go to hell. He doesn't do that shit.
No.
So, but yeah, he started referring to himself as like the expert on Armageddon. Not exactly something that I'd want to be an expert in.
Oh boy, yeah, right.
Yeah, but they all latch onto something. Some people call themselves God, and spoiler alert, he does. Well, he calls himself. Well, hashtag we'll get to that.
Hashtag we started a new hashtag.
Yeah, I started that a couple episodes ago. It might have been the Joseph Paul Franklin episode.
Yeah, it could be.
So in the late...
I haven't got to that part yet.
In the late 50s, he decides to relocate to the southeastern United States. Because in his mind, he decided that the southeastern United States would be the only safe place in the world during the end times.
Okay.
It's like... So it's like Armageddon's going to happen to the entire planet, the entire round planet, all except for the Carolinas.
Earth is a globe.
All except for the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia,
but not Florida.
The top part of Florida, the part the part that's connected to Georgia, the Panhandle, that'd still be there.
But see, here's the thing, dude. I love how, because we live in Florida, but us Floridians, we have to go north to get to the south. Like, I don't know. That just boggles my mind. It's like, dude, we're one of the southernmost states. We actually are the southernmost state in the United States. I mean, Key West is the southernmost point in the United States.
Oh, people say, oh, well, Florida's not part of the South. Well, Florida's further south than you are.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously. I mean, what's the South? Georgia? South Carolina? Dude, we're further south than you. We should be the South. But I know why, dude. It's because all the New Yorkers retire down here. There's, like, no real Southern people here. It's all retired New Yorkers.
Well, we're Southerners. You and I are. We're both native Floridians, born and raised here.
Well, I wasn't born here, but I moved here when I was 7, so I count as a native.
Yeah, you're close enough.
I've lived here for more of my life than I haven't lived here, so yeah.
All right. Well, I did leave for 15 years, but I came back. I came back because I freaking missed it. So, and
I know, dude. Everybody rags on Florida, but I fucking love it here.
I do too. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I mean, after going all over the country for my job, and after living in the Carolinas and Tennessee and whatnot for 15 years, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to go. There's no place that I would rather live than in Florida.
Yeah, see, dude, I want to move somewhere. I want to go somewhere different. I've lived in Florida for so long.
But I did.
It's just like, but you know what I mean, though, dude? The grass isn't always greener, man. Stay where you are because, I mean...
like I said, that's why I came back.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just, I'm not telling everybody else, like, dude, if you want to move somewhere else, please feel free. But for me, it's just like, dude, I'm happy here. I ain't going nowhere. I might go look for some land like in the middle of the state, in the middle of nowhere, like later on, and just just buy a whole big huge piece of land where I don't have to see anybody.
Yeah,
unless I want to, because I mean, fuck, we won't get into that now. Anyway,
right? Hashtag, but I digress.
Yes.
So I just don't get how he said that came up with the Southeast was the only safe place on the entire planet. But I think it had more to do with the fact that the people in the South, particularly in rural South Carolina and everything, would be more likely to latch on to his bullshit. That's what I think it was.
Yeah, probably. But then again, dude, I don't know. Maybe he just, how to say it? Like everybody that like preaches the apocalypse and Armageddon and stuff, they all have this place where they say it's going to be safe, and they want everybody to blah blah, dude. And they're all different places. It's just like, I don't know. He just maybe wanted to live in South Carolina, so he picked there or whatever. You know what I mean?
Could be.
I don't know, dude. I don't know how these people work. I just, it baffles me. But
he left the Methodist completely, and actually, Methodist elders basically disassociated themselves with him because he was a little too eccentric, shall we say?
Yeah, we'll call it that. It will be nice.
But doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah, sure does.
Old Hef.
Old Hef.
So he decided that he wasn't going to be Protestant or Baptist or Methodist or whatever. He was simply going to be Christian.
Ah.
So once he got down into South Carolina, he began touring around. He was doing guest speaking gigs at churches and everything, holding seminars and all that stuff, and he's making money. That's how he was doing it. He was working the circuit and everything, and building a name for himself. So, and the early days of this cult sound just like old Hef. Are you noticing a lot of similarities? I would imagine that
most early days of most cults do sound very similar.
Probably. So he starts referring to himself as Brother Stair.
Uh-oh.
So he finally gets to Colleton County in South Carolina, and it's there where he settles, and he starts up Overcomer Ministries. It's modeled after the Pentecostals, conservative, conservative with the way they dressed, strict literal interpretation of the Bible, speaking in tongues, and prophecy, and all that stuff. And it also didn't hurt that the fact that the Pentecostals were very popular in South Carolina at the time.
Yeah, hey, maybe that's why he picked to go there too.
Could be.
Who knows? I don't know.
So he's
throwing that out there.
He found the religion. He found the doctrine that was closest to what he was preaching and went with that. So he starts hinting about communal living in his sermons. He starts his Doomsday message. He starts incorporating that like literally into every sermon. It was a little bit at a time at first, and slowly increasing. He's slowly increasing the temperature and the pot that his frogs were in.
Good
analogy. You like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to call cult members from now on. Frogs.
All right.
And it's not disrespectful. I used to be a frog.
Yes, you did.
So it's not disrespectful, but it's that analogy of like you put a frog in a pot and slowly increase the heat on it. The frog's not going to notice anything going until it's too late and he's boiled. Yeah. So I think that, yeah, cult members, frogs.
Although I prefer to kill the frog, skin it, and deep fry the frog legs, but that's just me.
There's like a TikTok reel that I saw a couple days ago. This guy's got like a frying pan with vegetable oil in it, because he's about to fry some things and everything. And there's this crawfish, and the crawfish, I guess it got out of the pot that he was that he had the crawfish in, and it gets out and everything, and he's filming it. It's like running all over the place and everything. It gets up onto the stove. He's got a cutting board right there next to the frying pan, and it's more like it's not a cutting board. It's more like a butcher block. And he just dives right into the fucking frying pan full of 375 degree vegetable oil.
Oops. Dude, that's a whole new meaning. That brings whole new meaning to, dude, out of the frying pan into the fire. It's kind of like reverse though. He hopped out the boiling pot and into the frying pan.
Right. But they were all probably destined for that anyway. It's just this one, I guess he just couldn't wait to go there.
He's like, fuck this, I want it over now.
Maybe, I'll get away. Hey, look, there's some water. Oh shit! If I see that again, I'll send it to you.
Right on.
So, eventually, it was all Doomsday, and he had the people eating out of his hand. He had them believing that he had an inside track on Revelation, and believing that if they all lived in a commune together, then they would be safe from the end times. But
okay.
What about the rapture? Did he forget about the rapture?
Apparently that didn't fit into his narrative. So
right, where all of the Christians, all of the people, the followers of God, are going to be just taken.
Yep. Yeah, leaving behind just their clothes. So I guess everybody goes to heaven naked.
But
anyway.
As I was going through this, it's like he's talking about like every Revelations sermon that I've heard in my life was always talking about like, okay, well, you got to live your life right so that you can go up in the rapture and avoid the apocalypse.
Yeah,
that's every one. I mean, that's just how it is. That's the doctrine. So, in 1978, and he's in Walterboro, South Carolina, and he buys an abandoned motel building. And
this can't end well.
That's where he set up operations, and that was the beginning of the commune. And this was out on Highway 17. Now, Highway 17 is like another US 1. It's US 17. It goes from New York all the way down into, actually, I think it's just like US 1. It goes from New York to Maine, or from Maine to Florida. I think it does. I know US 1 does. Highway 17 goes. It's a long one as well.
Yeah.
So but this was an old abandoned motel, not a hotel. So it's like one of those serial killer motels, Yeah. Where single story.
Like you expect Norman Bates to be there.
Yeah. Single story. You park your car right in front of the room that you're staying in.
Yeah, with the cameras in the room.
Yeah, and the serial killer can just walk right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least with a hotel, with enclosed hallways and stuff like that, you're a little bit safer.
Slightly, but yeah.
But so he's growing his following. He starts having services at the motel, and people start moving in. And then he discovers the medium that would make all of his empire possible. Take a guess.
Radio?
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I was going to say the internet, but I don't think we're there yet.
No, we're not. We're not.
I'm pretty sure we're still at pre-internet times during this story here.
Yeah, that's 78.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I should have paid attention. I would have said 8-track tapes.
Oh, well, see, I mean, he was an innovator. I mean, Hobart Freeman, he's just sitting there. Well, he was on the radio as well. But he made his money off of all those fucking cassette tapes.
Yeah, you know.
So actually, okay, let me walk that back a little bit. Hef had the better business model than old RG did, because Hef actually had a physical product that you bought.
Yes.
He's just on AM radio, and it's not even like a podcast where, like if you want to charge people, you can. Yeah. No, this is just AM radio. So he's able to take the message to the world, and he starts he buys broadcasting equipment, and he buys time on AM radio station, and people started listening, and they started coming to the compound. And then, it just started off people from the southeast and everything. Then slowly people from other parts of the country started, working their way there.
Yeah.
Money starts pouring in, for donations.
Oh, yeah.
Send me your money. I want you to make it hurt. Now, how much you give is your own choice. But to me, it's the difference between a Porsche or a Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
Oh, freaking mush mouth there. Rolls Royce.
That's all right.
Ordained in a Rolls Royce.
Dude, I was watching this video, and this guy said, what did he say?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I forget, but dude, he said the word fucking wrong, dude, and it fucking it bugged the fuck out of me. I mean, he said it. I mean, the word he used was right. He just said it wrong.
Oh well, probably the most successful true crime podcast out there is Last Podcast on the Left. They've been at it for 10 years. Mm-hmm. They just released episode 5, or they're about to release episode 500.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're and
we haven't even got to 20 yet. Holy
no, but you know what? I want us to have that level of success, and I'm willing to work for it too. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll get
there. That's
there.
what we're doing. We will.
We're still infants with attitudes, man.
Infants with attitudes.
Dude, we'll always be infants with attitudes. I mean, if it's our 500th episode, but
damn right. I mean, that's gonna be a T-shirt. Infants with attitudes.
Yeah, it is.
We'll find an artist that can do like caricatures and make a screaming infant that looks like me and a screaming infant that looks like you.
Fuck yeah. That's gonna be badass, bro. Yeah,
yep.
That's definitely gonna be a badass fucking T-shirt.
Yeah, it is. So he starts telling people to start to sell everything that they own and come move in with him at the commune. And this would keep them safe during the end times. And
yeah, of course it will.
All it cost was all the money that they had, and all the money that they got after selling everything that they had.
Yep.
And and then for free labor on the compound to keep the ministry running.
Yeah.
But they'd be saved.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's
such everything, and you get nothing.
So he was such a good bullshitter, and he was able to convince the followers that he wasn't Jim Jones, even though the mass suicide in Guyana had happened like 2 years previous.
Oh my.
Many people sold. Can you imagine? Okay, that had just happened. That made freaking worldwide news and everything, and that's got it's fresh on everybody's mind at the time. You know, and all of a sudden he's saying the same thing. Hey, get rid of everything. Come live with me. Come one, come all. And and people are buying it. And they
see, I don't get that. I can't. I mean,
I know. You can't. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, he's a really good bullshit artist. He's charismatic and everything. He can dominate you and dominate the conversation and all that stuff. Well, you know what I mean. But
I know what you mean.
I just want to know. It's like, is there something that one of these people could? Is there anything that anybody could tell you personally, that would make you subscribe to this shit?
No.
I don't
one
think so
thing.
either. No, me either. And you weren't raised in a cult. I was.
Yeah.
So I damn sure ain't gonna go back. I'd probably be a harder sell than you would, but still, nobody's gonna talk you into doing all that shit.
Fuck no, dude. I don't. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not putting down the people that fall for this, because I mean, there are a certain type of people that these charismatic cult leaders, whatever you want to call them, that they target.
The frogs.
Yeah, they target these people because they know that those people will believe every fucking word they say.
Yeah, people down on their luck. People, drug addicts.
They target a certain kind of person that they know that they can get to believe them and control, and I am not that person,
No, nor am I. I mean, even as the awkward teenager that I was when I got out of the cult, I still don't think you'd be able to sell me on that shit, even back then.
Yeah.
I was awkward. I was afraid of my own shadow and all that stuff after that whole thing crashed and burned and all that shit. But
right,
I ain't going back. Fuck no.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, they target a certain kind of person that they know they can fucking get their claws into and just control. And
but
and you aren't that kind of person. I mean, nothing against the people that they target, because I mean, they're targeting those people for that reason. I mean, it's not.
And I'm going to say it again.
Calling fault that they're in that place.
Calling them frogs is not. That's not making fun of them at all. Like I said, I was a frog. And so it's just like I'm not. I'm not making fun of cult members and stuff by calling them frogs. It's just the analogy is so perfect.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, that's it.
Anyway.
That's everything. So, but you've also got to think. It's just like, okay, he's not only convincing these frogs that he's not Jim Jones, but he's also up against these people's families. Their families and friends are probably telling them, hey, don't do that, this is bullshit. And they would have to go up against their friends and family and be like, no, he's not like that, this is different. So he has to overcome the person who he's enticing, the frog, and he also has to convince the frog that the people that actually care about them, are full of shit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this guy was a freaking wizard.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to be trying to do what he did in the times that he was.
Yeah, but
like
this
you
is
just said with the whole Jonestown thing.
but this is, I mean, they all have to be, wizards to a certain degree, but this guy, I mean, he's like a freaking grand wizard. I mean, this guy is the emperor.
This is like Dumbledore level shit here.
Yeah, I mean, this guy. Oh man, but it's just I was listening to this podcast and everything, and talking, and going through the information and everything. It's just, and I've heard, I know a lot about cults. Because of my upbringing and because of the fact that I, listen to a bunch of true crime podcasts. But yeah, it's just, but this guy is on a whole another level than some of these other people. I mean, it is unreal. I mean, your jaw's going to be on the fucking floor by the end of this. And, it was with me too. I was just like, holy crap. Once again, how the hell isn't this guy known?
Yeah, right? I don't know.
Especially with what's coming. As the numbers grew, it's at this point that he decides that he's a prophet. He was the final,
of course.
He was the final prophet of God before Armageddon.
Okay. Is there such a thing?
Yeah, actually, there is the final prophet. That is in the Bible. I don't know the exact terminology on it, but that's, not, we're not here to talk about the Bible. We're here to talk about a cult leader.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was just wondering if that was a thing or if that's just something he made up.
No, it's like the final. He was the seventh prophet of God since Jesus died. Since the crucifixion and resurrection, okay. He was the seventh prophet of God, and that the seventh one would be the last one before Armageddon. I may have that wrong. I don't think that I have that wrong, but I might. But anyway, it doesn't really. He decided that he was the final prophet of God before Armageddon. Okay. So he prophesied in 1998, nuclear war would destroy the U.S. and all except for the Southeast, apparently.
Yeah, right. Because why would they send nukes there? And why would the fallout not go there?
Right. But they would be safe because the South. But he does.
The South shall rise again.
The South, right? Holy shit! I'm surprised that's not in the story. It, but the South would be. Realistically, the South would be a major target if like Russia was going to nuke us or whatever, especially back in the 70s. I mean, Eastern Missile Command, Patrick Air Force Base in Satellite Beach, Florida. That was the Eastern Missile Command back then. And that, of course, is the place that was in Bewitched? Or was it I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah. No, I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
They actually filmed the exteriors of that in Cape Canaveral.
Yeah. But it's not that anymore. Now it's a Space Force base. But I mean, yeah, you got the Mayport Naval Station, which is one of the biggest one of the biggest naval bases in the country. And that's in Jacksonville. Not to mention what else is in the Southeast? Washington D.C.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like, seriously, yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's set up. In South Carolina, we'll be safe because there's no way a nuclear bomb will fall here.
Right.
But see, that's the thing. Nuclear bomb, you don't have to be hit by a nuclear bomb
no.
to be killed by one.
A nuclear bomb is like a shotgun.
Yeah, you just have to get close.
Right. So, and he also said that he knew firsthand that there were 5 nuclear missiles armed at Philadelphia.
Okay.
And people started believing it. People in Philadelphia started believing it and coming to South Carolina. He also predicted that Ronald Reagan would die in office. Logistics. He was he was old. Yeah, that was one where
he had a 50-50 shot at that.
Right. So, but just constant end of the world prophecies and everything. And if you go to their website, and I'll give the website at the end of this episode because it's on the last page, but you can actually listen to some of the prophecies that he spewed.
Spewed. That's a good word.
So
I like that.
But the more people who joined, the stricter the rules became. Just like ankle length dresses on women. The women have to have long hair. Men have to wear collared shirts with slacks. It's like, what are they? And keep in mind, they would have to go out in the freaking field and dressed like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No phones at all.
In South Carolina,
which we will get to. No phones. No contact with the outside world. No friends. No family. No leaving the commune at all. You're not allowed to leave the commune and everything. They were self-sufficient and whatnot because they had their own crops and everything. They had livestock, and so. And of course, a big one, faith healing. Dun, dun, dun.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one to show up.
Of course. So, yeah, it just, God decides who lives and dies. So, therefore, you don't need any, any doctors.
Yeah.
Basically,
I think not.
Him and Hef would have been buddies, I think. Honestly,
no doubt.
Honestly, back during that time when Hef was alive, we were literally one sermon away from going, from our families packing us up and moving to some fucking commune.
Yeah.
That's how brainwashed he had everybody. One fucking sermon, and it's like some people that have reached out to me after doing those 2 episodes and everything. He already had the beginnings of a commune. Yeah. He did. He hadn't talked about it, but he had it. It was like this huge trailer park that people who needed help, like people who had lost their place to live or whatever. Because of him, where they could go and everything.
Well, because you weren't allowed to have a place.
Right.
You couldn't own anything. You couldn't have contract. Yeah, I remember all that shit. That's fucking bullshit. But anyway.
Yeah, so. We were one sermon away from being something. It was that fucking close, too. I mean, it really was. I hate going back and forth, but the at this point in the story, the similarities are just big, and like you said, a lot of them probably in the early goings of the cults and everything. That's probably a common denominator.
Yeah.
So
I would think so anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it probably is. I know Jim Jones is. I mean Jim Jones, when he started out, he was a good guy. He really was. He was a civil rights activist and everything. He preached equality. He did a lot for the Indianapolis community and all that stuff. I mean, he really was a good guy. Then he lost his fucking mind. So.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but I digress. They outgrew the motel, obviously, and so they bought a huge piece of land out in Kennedy's, and everything was moved there. And everything, they, ironically enough, bought an old trailer park. An old abandoned trailer park.
God, I want to make a joke about it, but I don't think it's appropriate.
Go ahead.
It's like, yeah, of course, yeah, move everybody to, the whole trailer park thing. Like, dude, the worst place to live is trailer park when a tornado happens, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's tornadoes in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's just brilliant. Let's move our whole fucking operation into a tornado target.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, it's like, okay, the South is going to be safe from Armageddon, but
while we're in a trailer park.
tornadoes, hurricanes.
I'm sorry, I just can't help it.
Hurricanes. I mean, Canadies. It's about an hour from the ocean.
Yeah, tornadoes, hurricanes, nuclear bombs. But we'll be safe in this trailer park. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they were able to. I mean, the land that they had was considerably bigger, and everything. And they would also bring.
Oh yeah, so they could squeeze more people.
Right, but they would also, just like as their numbers grew or whatever, they would buy like dilapidated trailers and have them trucked in for people to live in. They would also build like cottages and stuff like that and everything. And I think I'd rather live in a cottage than an old beat up trailer. But
yeah, well,
if the cottage,
you don't have. I'm assuming they didn't have the choice. I was like, okay, you only have this much money, you get the shithole trailer. Oh, you've got a lot of money here, you can have a cottage.
Could be, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure that's the way it was. I'm sure that somebody that didn't have nothing didn't get the fancy cottage. They got the fucking shit bucket trailer.
Right.
And the people with a shit ton of money to donate got the fancy stuff.
Well, there was no real fancy stuff. The only person that had a fancy thing. This is according to the that podcast that did the interviews with the documentary people. The only person that had anything decent, anything remotely decent, was RG himself, and well,
of course. But you know what I mean, dude. I'm sure a cottage is fancier than a fucking shitbox trailer. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, and like I've seen some old dilapidated trailers, and I'm surprised that they would even freaking survive the move.
Dude, some of us have lived in old dilapidated trailers.
I have.
Kevin has. I mean, hey, I love you, Thunder Midget, dude. I'm not trying to put you down. Just saying, dude. I've seen some places that have been like, how is this even allowed to exist?
I know. I had a friend of mine, years ago and everything, and he was living in a trailer. There was literally, the hallway had literally rotted out, and you had to like skirt the side of the hallway and like step on the beams and everything to get to the bathroom or the bedrooms or whatever. That was
and only in the name of God shall you pass.
Yeah.
Jehovah. Jay. Whoa, no, not Jay, not Jay. Sorry, I don't think that movie had been out yet. Maybe it was, I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I hope everybody gets that reference. If you don't, then fuck, I'm old.
Well, I didn't.
You've never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, it wasn't Raiders. It was the third one with Sean Connery.
Right. No.
Last Crusade.
The thing is, no, it wasn't that I didn't. I would, if I had heard what you said, I would have gotten it. But why?
Oh, you didn't hear it? Like only in the name of God shall you pass,
right?
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But in Latin, Jehovah starts with an I.
Yeah. So.
He steps on the J and almost falls to his death.
I remember that.
I'd imagine that's what walking through that trailer was like.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of.
Well,
even though
think about
the person's trailer has nothing to do with this story, that's what it made me think of.
But snakes, bugs, and rats and all that stuff could come through that, that hole. Like, how the fuck how the hell is it even legal?
How do you live in that?
How is it legal to live in that?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but now at this point, they're completely isolated and self-sustained. The men would work the farms and deal with the crops and the manual labor. Women, of course, they would take care of the domestic side of it, with the kids and all that stuff. And as I mentioned, the housing is old beat up trailers, and with no AC. Can you
no AC? Get the fuck out of here!
Can you? And now this comes from that interview podcast, the Say What You Mean podcast, and it's like there was no running water for bathing. They had buckets all over the place, and they would just collect rainwater.
Oh Jesus!
And there's no electricity, there's no AC now. This is South Carolina heat. Yeah, they're out there in South Carolina in the South Carolina heat. You know, they're slaving their asses off and everything, and then they have to come home to a trailer with no fucking air conditioning in it. You want to talk about misery?
Yeah, right, dude. That's fucking fucked up.
I mean, and they were living in filth. You know, it's like they, yeah, the South. It actually gets hotter in South Carolina than it does in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, in South Carolina...
Maybe.
In South Carolina, okay, in Florida, yeah, the average temperature during the heat of the day in Florida is about 98 degrees with like a gazillion % humidity. You know, and then, but in South Carolina, I mean, in Florida, it might crack 100 degrees maybe 5 times a year, you know? In South Carolina during the summer, it might dip below 100 degrees maybe 5 times a year during the summer.
Well, dude, lately though, I mean, and I'm sorry, I don't know if Florida's the only state that does this fucking feels like temperature bullshit.
Oh, they do it in South Carolina
but dude,
too.
it's been over 100 in Florida, like pretty much every day this summer with the feels like temperature.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry, if it feels like it's 108,
it's 108.
It's 108.
Exactly. But
do not tell me it's 90 degrees, but it feels like 108.
But
don't give me that bullshit.
But they do that. 108. They do that in South Carolina too. But in South Carolina, the humidity is every bit as intense as it is in Florida. And if anything, we've got it better in Florida because of the fact that we have the breeze crossing the states. You know, because we have ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. So if anything, it's a little bit better. When I lived in South Carolina, it would be all hot and everything, 105 degrees, and with a feels like temperature of like 120, and people would be, you know, wow, at least we don't live in Florida. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, this is worse than Florida. So.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
who knows?
And the thing is some people left nice ass lives, nice ass houses and stuff like that they liquidated, you know, to come down and live like this.
Yeah, right.
Unfrickin' real. Now, NBC 10 in Philadelphia, they ran a story about the Overcomer Ministries called the Cult of Doom. And you can find this on YouTube, and I watched it. It's called Cult of Doom, NBC 10, and it's on YouTube. But there was a couple who had sold their home, you know, and moved down there. They own their home, and the woman when they left Philadelphia and went down to South Carolina, the woman was pregnant, but. And then at 10, she carried her baby beyond 9 months, and she was at 10 months pregnant. No doctor, no doctor assistance or whatever. The baby was stillborn.
Oh my God!
But 10 months. You imagine, you know how much a baby grows the first month that it's out of its mother. And everything. Oh man! But you know the parents, the parents of this couple, of this woman, they were interviewed too, and they said that that they believed that if they had just normal doctor, then the baby wouldn't have gone 10 months, and it would have survived. It would have been born just perfectly healthy.
No doubt.
And she had, it's just like that hit home to me as well. The only difference is I wasn't on a commune. You know?
Yeah, dude. But, dude, that's fucking... I have... That fucking... You know me. You know how I get with shit like that, bro. That's just fucking wrong.
Mm-hmm. I know. And, just like he had these sayings. Like, every time something happened, he had a saying. And the saying for when somebody dies of preventable things, something preventable, it was just like God... chooses who's going to live and who's going to die, so therefore you don't need a doctor. And he has another one which we'll get to for a different situation, but I'm going to keep you in suspense.
All right.
So the outrageous...
Keep me in suspense.
The outrageous doctrine continues to get worse and worse and worse. Now women have to be totally obedient and subservient to men. And let's just say that's setting up future plans for old RG. And then, and children must be beaten daily to keep them in line.
Yep, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Even if they didn't do anything wrong. All right, it's your daily beating.
Yep. Oh, you did a great job today, little Teddy. Come over here and get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Because, God says I have to.
Yep. But, his prophecies, this did a lot for his credibility. I mean, they all came true. The nuclear war happened. Reagan died.
Yeah.
Reagan died in office. Kennedy's became like the major destination for all the survivors. In fact, we all live there now.
Yes, we're all living here right now.
No.
Exactly.
Nothing came true.
Of course not.
1988 or whatever it was came and went and everything, and he starts losing followers and everything, and he makes the most ridiculous prophecy that he had made to date to make people believe that he was still legit. He said that the world would end in the year 2000. And that became his entire message at that point. That was it. The world's going to end sometime, in the year 2000. Just send me all your money.
Well, he wasn't the only one that thought that. There's a lot of that going around.
There was.
I mean, he may have been one of the first ones to say that shit, but there was a lot of that going around.
Just bear with me here for a second, because
Gotcha.
This is where he sets himself apart. But but he would on his radio, his radio broadcasts and everything. He's on like 120 stations, and just in the United States alone, plus all over the world and everything. Through relay stations and all that stuff. So it just send me all your money, come be my slave, and you'll be safe. But still,
right?
What about like I said earlier, what about the rapture?
I know, right?
That word does not come up at all in this story. As far as the only reason that word comes up in the story is because I said it.
Kind of makes you wonder.
So why you asked that prophecy about the world ending in 2000 make people believe that he was legit? Take a guess. Just take a stab.
Because of the Prince song?
Tonight I'm
2000 oops over at a time?
No, well, you weren't allowed to listen to Prince.
Oh, I don't know. That's the first thing that popped into my head, dude. I don't know.
He said that if the world did not end in the year 2000, he would flat out tell God to go straight to hell.
Really? See, I never would have thought that. Holy crap.
But you see, it's so outrageous and everything, it's like that would make a frog think, it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, he would never do that.
Right. So
it must be true.
It must be true. Exactly. Oh, boy. So now we're into the 90s.
Yeah, that's...
Huh?
No, I was just the oh boy. I was totally agreeing with you on the whole oh boy.
Yeah. So now we're in the 90s, and the radio stations, more and more radio stations keep picking up his broadcasts, and then he discovers satellite radio. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So he's worldwide now, and at this point, anybody who wants to find him can find him because of satellite radio. But then something came along that made it even easier to get his message out. And you know what that was?
So it's got to be the internet now, right?
Yep. Now, he would use solar panels. Now, this guy he was on, he was up on his technology. Yeah, he was on, he, like, whenever a new technology, like satellite radio or the internet, whenever something new came along, he pounced on it, like, immediately. Satellite,
Well, that's cool. I mean, considering when he was born and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this guy, like I said, this guy was a freaking evil wizard.
Oh, so he was more Voldemort than Dumbledore.
Yeah. So he's...
Sorry, I have to make a Harry Potter reference so the young people know that we know what we're talking about.
Okay. So he used solar panels to power his broadcasting equipment, and basically all he did was sit there and broadcast all day long in his air-conditioned studio.
Right.
Air-conditioned studio.
It was solar-powered, though, right?
Yeah.
It was solar-powered, though. So, good on him for solar power. I got it. Okay, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's not leaving...
But that's it. That's the only thing I'm going to give him.
He's not leaving a carbon footprint.
Hey, dude, solar power is the way to go.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, for like at your home, I don't think we can power the world with solar power. Because it's just not that efficient.
Well, that's the only thing
that's the only thing that like for your personal use at home, it is.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the only thing that he was using was his house, his studio, his air conditioner. And
right.
All this while everybody worked in the freaking sun. And
wearing dress clothes in the sun,
clothes
dying
in the sun.
Probably from fucking exhaustion.
Yeah, and it's just like you're not allowed to, nobody's allowed to leave. Hold on, I read that wrong.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you.
No, I can't read my own writing, and not one. This always happens. Whenever I freaking can't read my own writing, and then I try to go back at it again, it just comes.
Yeah. Yep. All right, back up. So, take 3.
Not one to leave anybody out. Yeah. He installed loudspeakers all over the property, so that all that his workers could hear as they were like toiling was just his ass fucking blasting his drivel, through the loudspeaker and everything, all freaking day long. And
dude, this reminds me of like
Jim Jones. He did that at Jonestown.
Yeah, and just like all the crazy fucking like alternate future shit sci-fi films that I like to watch, where it's just like. Like it's like that Marvel What If. I mean, we should be talking about this on the other one, but I'm going to do it here because that's where my head is right now. But, it's like, dude, like there's this series called, I forget, the Man in the Tower or something.
Yeah. That's
about what if the Nazis won World War II.
I've seen that.
And like, yeah. But it just, I mean, dude, it reminds me of that, like, that thing in like that movie V for Vendetta, where it's just that constant fucking propaganda just being forced upon you.
Yeah, and I mean, North Korea literally does this shit in real life. Kim Jong-un and everything. Yeah. It's just like he's got his propaganda. Hitler did that too, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, he always gave his speeches to the masses, and
Right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me ask Nazi Joe. Hey, Nazi Joe. What did Hitler? Have like loudspeakers placed throughout the city and everything to hear his. Yes. Thank you, Nazi Joe. Now get the fuck out of here.
Thank you for making that a short and sweet answer, too, by the way.
Yeah, right? Unlike freaking Flat Earth Fred.
Now fuck off.
Flat Earth Fred, Flat Earth Frank, whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Yeah, Flat Earth Frank.
Yeah. So...
I think we did, yeah. Anyway.
So, but working, worshiping, sleeping. That's it. That's all you did. 7 days a week. Yeah, and you're working 12 hours at a time. 12 hours at a time. Yeah, you wake up, you eat your breakfast, then you're out there toiling in the field all day. You get like a little bit of a break for lunch. Then when you're done, you get to bathe in the rainwater.
rainwater.
Yeah, and then you have to go like listen to him do something, even though you've been like force fed his garbage all freaking day long, and then after that you go to sleep. That was your life. That was your life on this commune.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, the year 2000 came and went, and the world didn't end. God isn't in hell.
And I bet he didn't tell God to go to hell either.
No. At least there's no, he might have. Who knows? It wasn't in any of the research that I found. You know, it wasn't on the Wikipedia page.
Well, I'm sure he didn't because, you know.
Yeah. So.
Because then everybody would have left him. He would have had no leverage over anybody then.
So, that did lose him some followers and everything, but after 2000, allegations of sexual abuse started coming out.
And here we go.
Yep, here we go. In April of 2002, two females who got out, they filed sexual assault charges against RG. Yeah, they said that he raped them when they were underage. Remember I said that RG had like stock answers and everything for every situation? This is the other one. Yeah, about God chooses who lives and dies. Well, this is the other one. He said that it was God's will that he slept with these women.
Oh my!
God told him just go fuck that girl.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse.
Why do you do this shit to me, man?
It still blows my mind.
No, that is not right.
It still blows my mind that this story isn't up there with like Jonestown and everything.
I know.
You know,
no, God would not tell you to do that. I'm sorry. Nope. Only fucking pervert pedophiles say God told them to do it, or whatever, or you know, try to make an excuse for why they are the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, fuck, dude, that's got my fucking blood boiling, man.
Oh, well, then go take a Lipsinopril because it's going to get worse.
How can it get worse than that?
Because he...
is there anything worse than pedophilia? I don't think so.
No, there's not. That's not what I meant.
Okay.
He went to trial, and he was found guilty, but the charges were reduced to assault and battery, and he served 2 months in jail.
The fuck?
Didn't even go to fucking prison. Just 2 months in jail.
For raping little girls.
Right. So many people had left the compound.
They didn't know. I mean, dude, did they know why? Oh, yeah. I mean, they didn't find out in prison that he raped little girls. And, I mean, even if he was in... He probably didn't go to a prison, right? He spent 2 months in a county jail.
He was just in the county jail, yeah.
Yeah, they're less likely to fucking kill you in county jail because they're all trying to get out themselves. So
right. So many,
fuck,
lots of people had left the compound. I mean, his numbers had like seriously dwindled.
Good,
but the donations were still flowing in from all around the world because they people listening on satellite radio, on the internet, and everything, and on the various.
God bless the internet.
Yeah, they didn't know about this shit, and obviously he didn't talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now we're getting into the next part of this, which is how this happened. Makes me wonder why in the hell this, just for. Actually, this next part, if it doesn't happen, this still should be like up there among the worst. The David Koresh, the Jonestown, Hobart Freeman. But in 2011, are you familiar with the rapper Craig Mack?
No.
Okay, well,
I probably heard some stuff he's done and just not known his name. So I mean, I do that a lot. Like, I hear songs or whatever, and I never find out who does them. So I probably heard his song. I probably heard his stuff. I just didn't know his name.
Yeah, but in 1994, the Craig Mack, he was the artist that put Sean Combs' label Bad Boy Records on the map. And he had a number one hit with the song Flavor in Your Ear. Do you remember that song?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. And you mean Puffy?
No, this was Craig Mack. It was Puffy's label.
No. But you said Sean Combs' record label. Sean Puffy Combs? Puff
yeah,
Daddy?
Yeah, Puff Daddy. P. Diddy.
All right, then.
I mean, he's got stuff.
The song you mentioned, yeah, it sounds familiar. So I'm sure I've. But see, back in the 90s, like that, dude, I wasn't into any of that stuff. I was more into, like, especially around then, dude, I was still into, like, metal and getting into country.
Well, I mean, you were in Blindside in '94, weren't you? No, you weren't.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. Not yet.
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
It was like 94 or 95, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was getting into country because that's back when country was still good. Before it turned into this fucking pop farce that it is nowadays.
Yeah. But I hadn't.
But I digress.
I hadn't heard. Hashtag, but I digress. But I hadn't heard the song. I looked it up on Spotify, and I had never heard it. I mean, it didn't even sound vaguely familiar to me, so I must have missed that one.
Right. I don't know. I might have, but, like I said, I wasn't really into that. Like, I mean, nowadays I listen to everything. Everybody gets a chance. I don't care,
Well, I mean, I don't.
But back then I was still kind of picky about what I listened to, and I was not into that shit.
Right. I mean, I'll listen to, it's like I don't like rap and everything, but like if we ever wind up covering a rapper, I'll listen to his stuff and it's just there's some rap out there that I actually really do like that song Regulators.
Yeah,
that's an awesome
that's a
song. That's Stand by Eminem. That's an awesome song.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some rap that I do like, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's good. It's just that back then, at the time we're talking about, I was not into it.
Right.
And that's my bad. I mean, because there's a lot of good stuff from actually the stuff from the 90s, the time we're talking about, is a lot better than the stuff that's out right now.
Oh yeah. Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang.
Yeah.
And that passes as
music. Yeah, dude. And the rap stuff now is that it's all just N-word and fuck and this and N-word and fuck and like, dude, don't you write a fucking song?
Yeah. But old Craig Mack, he had never had another big hit after that. And he was overshadowed by other acts, specifically Notorious B.I.G. Biggie. Yeah, so, I mean, in 2011...
I love it when you call me Big Papa.
In 2011, he was in New York City. He was sitting in a car with a gun. And this is allegedly to kill Puffy. Because he thought that...
Huh.
He thought that Puffy had like put others ahead of him.
Oh, so this is the first guy, not Biggie. Biggie wasn't there to kill Puffy. It was the other guy,
Craig Mack. Yeah, but
the guy that no one's ever heard of.
Right. Well, he was a one-hit wonder. But
yeah, you know what I mean.
And the fact maybe he didn't put out any relevant music might have had something to do with it.
No, that couldn't be. I'm good, man.
Yeah. But
this shit
because that song's not that good. It was a #1 hit, but even as I mean, I can't tell a good rap song from a bad one. But this one, I mean,
I got you.
It didn't really seem like it was all that good. I mean, there's like that song "Regulators." That is an awesome fucking song. That dun 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 by Eminem. That's an awesome song. You know, it's just,
lose yourself.
Lose yourself. That's it. That's it.
Oh, did you never let it go? Yeah, from 8 Mile. That's a great movie. Well, it's not a great movie, but I liked it.
I haven't seen it, but I did like I saw that Straight Outta Compton movie, and I freaking thought I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, 8 Mile. I mean, it's basically Eminem's origin story,
right?
I mean, you know, for like all you comic book fans or whatever.
I need to watch it.
If you haven't seen it,
I've been meaning to watch it. You know, especially after I watched Straight Outta Compton, and I loved that. You know, I loved that movie. I was like, okay, I need to watch 8 Mile, but you know, like we said in the Norwegian,
it's good.
Black
It's got
Metal.
Kim Basinger in it, and she's always fucking hot. I don't care what anybody says.
But they, you know, like I said in the Norwegian black metal episode, it's just like, you know, it's like whether I like the genre or not, if there's a compelling story about it, especially
absolutely,
I'm gonna freaking watch it, and I know I'll probably like 8 Mile as well. So I think I'm gonna watch that this week. They've got me back on stores, so I'll need something to do. I'm gonna watch 8 Mile this week.
Yeah.
So
you know, dude, I'm gonna have to watch it again too, because it's been a while since I've seen it. But I remember that I remember digging it, but I always liked Eminem though, even when he first came out.
Eminem, I said that I can't tell the difference between a good rap song and a bad one. I can listen to Eminem and know that he's gifted in what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got some skills.
Yeah. So
he's definitely Anyway,
but at that point, by that point it's like he was still around. He was still playing shows and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, in 2011, he just freaking disappeared, and nobody knew where he went. Now, this was from that Say What You Mean podcast where they did the interview.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm just citing sources here because I'm just fair is fair, you know. That interview with them is great, and I can't wait till that documentary comes out because I'll watch the shit out of it, and I'll post it on our freaking on our social media when it does come out. You know, because I mean, it's just I'd love to see, because I'm going to get into them. I'm going to get into their interview shortly. Yeah, it's just really awesome. Yeah, the story that they came up. The story of what these guys did, but nobody knew where the hell he was after. Like around 2010, 2011, nobody knew where he was. It was like from what they said on the host of that show said, he said it was like a big mystery. It was like everybody's like, well, where the hell's Craig Mack? He like disappeared. Is he alive? Is he dead?
Right.
But Craig Mack had found RG's radio broadcast. And
oh no.
Yeah. Well, where else could this have gone? Well, I guess it could have gone just like, okay,
I know.
Craig Mack could have gone down there and just killed RG. But that's not what he did. Go down there though.
Oh boy, here we go.
He was hooked immediately, and he like pretty much just said fuck it and left everything behind, and he drove down to Kennedy, South Carolina. And RG welcomed him with open arms. Once he figured out who he was.
Right.
He probably didn't know any of his music, but when he showed up, he's probably like, okay, well, I'm Craig Mack, I'm a big rapper and blah blah blah. So he, like we said, he's up on the technology, so he probably went and Googled him, like, oh, come on in.
Oh, you had one song, but come on in. But you know what? But the thing is, I mean, he was still somewhat relevant. I
I mean, he wasn't forgotten. I mean, like I said, he was still making music and everything. It just wasn't really all that well received. He had like kind of like a cult following, and people would go see him at his shows and everything just to hear the Flavor in Your Ear song, and whatever else. Right. I mean, so he's welcome. I mean, RG used him as a figurehead. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like he even though Mac was basically a has-been, he still had enough star power to make RG relevant again, to a certain degree,
of course.
But then again, these frogs that are watching YouTube, listening to satellite radio and blah blah blah. It's like all he has to say is, okay, this is a major recording star, and he likes and he left his entire star-studded, life of luxury, the women, the drugs, and all that stuff, and he came here because he was shown the way through my teachings because I'm the prophet, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but
it's probably pretty close to how it went down.
Exactly, it is. Yeah, he would feature Mac on his YouTube page, and they would appear side by side. Mac. You've seen the video of Kenneth Copeland, when, like, the COVID-19. You've seen that.
Yeah.
Then there's that fucking skinny white dude with the glasses going, praise God, amen.
Skinny white dude. Okay.
He was Kenneth Copeland's hype man.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So basically, Craig Mack became RG's hype man.
Oh.
Yeah, and it really
interesting.
Yeah, and RG really utilized his YouTube page, and he would post his sermons on them and everything, but he wasn't being cautious about what he posted.
Oh, and this had to be back when YouTube wasn't really particular about what you posted.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you can't get away with shit on fucking YouTube, man. They'll fucking shut your ass down in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you got to have one person fucking report your page as fucking for whatever reason, dude, and YouTube fucking just knocks that video right the fuck out.
Yep. It happened several.
And then you got to sit there and fucking go through months and months.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it on the Will and Thunder show. We would upload our episodes there and everything, and I would have to fight. It's like the copyright claim. I would have to fight. It's like I literally had permission to use the frickin' song. I was interviewing the frickin' artist who wrote the song. He sent those songs to. Yeah.
But see, a lot of times, though, it's not the artist that fucking does it.
It's the algorithm.
It's the fucking record company.
It's the algorithm. So, but
dude, a lot of times, though, that the companies that own the music or whatever, I mean, like music or movies, like, dude, if you're doing like movie reviews and you show footage from a movie, and they don't want you to show it, dude, they'll fucking copyright you real quick. They'll fucking flag you, and you'll be like, can't play it. Sorry.
Yep. So his sermons began taking on let's say, not so Christianly theme, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Young girls would be called to the altar, and he would say,
"Oh no."
He would say inappropriate things to them about their bodies, like this 12-year-old girl. And this really pissed me off because I have a 12-year-old daughter. And he'd point to her chest and be like, when did you get those? About her boobs.
Yeah.
And he would fat shame, oh, you used to be so beautiful. What the hell happened? You're a slob now, and blah blah blah. And then there was this one where he just groped a girl's breast, and he's just like, I'm gonna touch him. I'm gonna touch him till nobody else will touch him. I don't know what the fuck he meant with that. It sounds to me like he planned on raping her and killing her. If you want to read between the lines, that's I'm sure that's not what he meant, but that's the way it comes off, isn't it? I'm gonna touch him till nobody else. I mean, it's just like, and he would post this. He posted shit on YouTube. But where were these girls' fathers? You know,
in the field, brainwashed.
No, this was the sermons where everybody was required to be there.
Oh, everybody! I don't know. Well, you know, fuck, he's God, so you know, he must be doing what.
Fucking brainwashed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they're like frogs in the pot, you know.
Frogs in the pot.
It's infuriating, man. I mean, it's just like, God. And at this point, he's like 70-something years old. You know, disgusting fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck, dude. Really, dude? Like, dude, I had just kind of settled down, and then you fucking throw this shit at me. Now my fucking blood's boiling again, dude. I want to go out and kill somebody. You know?
Well,
not anybody. You know, this motherfucker.
No, he's already.
I'm sure he's already dead by now.
Dead.
So.
He's dead.
Well, I want to go find his grave and piss on it. Then
you might have a hard time. We'll get to that. So, more sexual allegations came out in 2014. Radio stations had started dropping RG, but he was still doing well online. Yeah, he would do begathons that raised a shit ton of money. One individual, and the individual is not named, donated $1 million to him.
Oh man!
So
it was Biggie. I bet it was Biggie.
No, it wasn't Biggie. And it wasn't.
Just saying. I'm being an idiot, dude. I'm just being an idiot. It's fine.
It wasn't Craig Mack either, because he didn't have that kind of money at the time. He had whatever money he had already given to RG.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Craig Mack didn't have Biggie Smalls money. He had more like shopping at Dollar Tree money.
Yeah. But he didn't have anything, because in order to join, you have to give everything that you have over to RG.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, when he did give everything over to RG, he only had fucking shopping at Dollar Tree money.
Right. He had a name that RG was able to
Because he's a one-hit wonder, and probably all the money he made off of that single he owed to Puffy anyway. So, like I said, dude, he had shopping at Dollar Tree money because Puffy took everything from that shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, he really started pushing his YouTube page, and this is where the wheels really start falling off.
I was hoping this was going to happen. I was hoping the wheels were going to fall off of this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I knew it was coming, but this is the part I've been waiting for.
Be careful what you wish for. So, a 16-year-old girl came forward saying that he had raped her for 5 months straight. And what he had told her, it's God's will.
No, it's not.
No. So, 25-year-old Stacy Yates, I'm only saying her name in here because it's just like, she has like become like an outspoken advocate against cults and all that stuff and everything. So it's just like she came forward. She joined the cult at 17 years old. She was a runaway, and she had been sex trafficked. And so she found this. She got she was a frog, and then but she escaped that life. She actually got away from the people that were sex trafficking her, only to have it all happen again to her, courtesy of RG. And it happened. And it happened the entire time, from when she was 17 to the time that she was 25. She got the hell out of Dodge and just basically reported it at 25 years old. 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so So she. Wait a minute. I'm trying to get my head around this. She was in a cult that sex trafficked her, and then left that and joined another cult.
No, she wasn't in a cult. She wasn't in a cult prior. She was. She had run away as a kid, as a young teenager and everything.
Oh, okay.
Wound up getting into drugs and wound up getting basically captured by one of these fucking pimps and everything that.
Okay.
Sex trafficking.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Gotcha. But for a second there, like I said, it took me a minute to get. I was trying to get my head around it. She left the cult and joined another cult. But that's not what happened. I got you. Yeah, I'm with you now.
She jumped out of the frying pan and into another frying pan.
Yes.
Poor girl.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately for her, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, December 2017, RG is arrested by the sheriff backed by the FBI. And it's 3 counts of sexual misconduct, kidnapping, assault, burglary, and sexual contact with a minor. 4 more women accused him of rape in it. And the same thing. It's God's will. And these women were married, and the husbands actually allowed it to happen. Yep. So he has a $750,000 bond posted, and somebody actually paid the 10%. So what? That's like $75,000.
Yeah, something like that.
So he was let out of jail with an ankle monitor. But all he did was go back to the compound. So it's just like, where else was he going to go?
Right.
Now.
Yeah, dude. It's not like he's running around, dude. He's going to go to his safe space.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He's got everything that he can do. He's got all he needs. He's got slaves.
Yeah.
He's got
all the free slaves and all the young girls he can rape, all just waiting for him.
Right. They should have done it with the stipulation you're not allowed to go back to the compound.
Yeah. Then he'd have been fucked, huh?
Yeah. So, but, somebody paid that shit. In March of 2018, Craig Mack died of heart failure at 47 years old.
Oh.
And that's where this other this podcast, the Say What You Mean podcast, that's they had the people that he was interviewed, Joe Lewis and Tim Smith, they had gone there because they had found out where Craig Mack was, and so they go there and they interview Craig Mack, and at the time he's just basically dying. By the time they find him, he's dying on the commune. So they interview him for the documentary, and after that they realized the severity of what was going on and everything. So they started going around, and interviewing survivors of the cult, people that had gotten the fuck away. But they were allowed in into the commune, but they were actually invited back to interview RG.
What?
RG wanted when he allowed them to come on and interview Craig Mack, but after that, they're like, he wanted them to come back and interview him.
Okay.
He wasn't very smart in his old age.
But apparently not, because that again, color me baffled by this decision. But all right.
So there's a graveyard on the property.
Of course, because there'd have to be.
Yeah. And
because if God wants you to die, God wants you to die, but we can't send you out in the real world and find out why you died, and then we'd really be in trouble. So we're just going to chuck you in a hole.
They did a portion of the RG interview, at Craig Mack's grave. He's buried on the commune.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, then.
Craig Mack, one-hit wonder, puppet. He's buried on that fucking property in, bumfuck South Carolina. And another thing that he was charged with was illegal burying of corpses on the commune.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is illegal to do that.
Right.
No, you can't just bury it. It's not like your dog died and you dig a hole in your backyard and make a little grave for it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's a human being, man. This shit has to be reported. These things have to be handled.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm gonna post that Say What You Mean podcast. I'm gonna post the link to that episode in our notes because I mean it's just like I listened to the Carolina Crimes podcast and everything, and it was good. I mean, it was good enough to get me hooked and everything. But then I started looking for more, and I found more with this podcast, and I was listening to it, and it's just like the interview that they did with them, with those two guys. It's just like that's what really just like all right, because at first I was gonna like do the original the episode that we had on plate, on tap for tonight. I was gonna go ahead and do that one tonight, and then do this one like next week. But after I listened to that Say What You Mean podcast with the interview, I'm like, nah, fuck that. We're we're
doing this.
We're doing this one. And,
hell yeah.
But there's a level of crazy here that is just like off the chain, and it just blows my. I think the fact that this isn't one of the more well-known cults and everything. Like I said, there's only 2 episodes on Spotify about this cult, and
yeah,
we're going to be the 3rd, and it's just like ours. We get a lot more into detail than the Carolina Crimes one does, but I'm not knocking Carolina Crimes. That was it was enough to have me hooked and everything, but we had to just put our own spin on it,
Yeah, we definitely have a unique take on things.
Yeah. So, but that Say What You Mean podcast. I mean, I know you don't listen to podcasts a lot, but you need to listen to this. I mean, I'll shoot you the link. It's like an hour long.
All right.
I mean, and there's a lot.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
There's a lot of digression in the beginning of it and everything, but
oh, so we're not the only ones.
No. The best podcasts out there digress. The best ones. So well,
then fuck, we should be number 1 because god damn, we go off on tangents a lot.
So, but take a Lipsenapro right now because you're going to need it. The court.
I don't do that, but I'll be fine.
The cult really dragged their feet on starting the trial. He never went to fucking trial.
What?
He never went to trial for any of this. He was charged with all these things, but he never went to trial. And, COVID happened, so they were just kind of postponing it and all that stuff. But on April 3rd, 2021, RG dies of heart failure on the commune. I mean, everybody involved is pissed. All the people that were coming out against him is pissed and everything. Stacey Yates, was that her name? Yeah, Stacey Yates.
I think so.
She, it's just like she went fucking nuts and everything. And you can find interviews with her on YouTube and everything. Everybody's pissed off about the fact that, that this fucker died. He was charged, but he was never convicted with anything, and he just died of heart failure, on the commune. I mean,
that's convenient.
Yeah, just like Hef. I mean, well, wasn't on the commune, but still, I mean, he practiced what he preached. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have like Hef. I'm pretty sure that they could have actually done, like had him live longer and everything. Craig Mack, definitely. He died at 47.
Yeah, but of the same thing, which is, that kind of, to me, that's like, is it really heart failure, or did they drink the Flavor Aid?
No, he was the only one that died. I don't think that he killed himself. I mean, he wasn't, when he died, he didn't even have a court date.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, but no, he died of heart failure.
But not him. I mean, I'm not really talking about fucking Mr. Ibanez. I'm talking about Mr. One Hit Wonder rapper, dude. I mean, yes, I understand that it happens.
No, when
you're on a cult compound and you die that young from heart failure. I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. I understand that it happens.
He had probably, prior to going to the cult and everything, he had probably done a lot of drugs. He, and everything. He probably didn't live, the healthiest life and everything. So, like for example, somebody that goes through, drugs and all that stuff and everything, and then when they get into their 40s, they can turn it around with help. But Craig Mack, he didn't do that because he was on a cult and told that they weren't, that you weren't allowed to go to a doctor. Okay, the commune is still in operation, but there's no known leader. It just seems like, okay, the property is bought and paid for, and they're just living, doing their own thing. They're not. I mean, they have their website up and everything, but they're not out. They're not doing like broadcasts anymore. They're not trying to like bring new people. If people find their website and they just want to join, it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure the door is going to be open for them, but it's not. But it's not really a cult. From what I gather, it's not really a cult anymore. It's just a commune of like-minded people. And what?
Dude.
I don't have a problem with that.
I would love to live on a commune. Like, if you want to come and hang out and do the things that we do it. If you don't, then don't. Or if you think it's cool and then you get here and you don't think it's cool, go on about your life. I'm not going to force, that's the kind of place I'd like to have, like a little community of just a bunch of like-minded people.
Well, you want to go up there sometime? See if they'll let us in and hang out with them for a week or two? Like, it would have to be during the winter.
I don't know. Is fucking RG buried there so I could piss on his grave? Well, then if I get a chance to piss on his grave, yes, let's go.
But that's just the thing. The two guys that did the documentary, they said that it's like the people that lived there were good people, and it's like some of the people they wanted out and everything. They didn't have a bad thing to say about any of the people that were there. Yeah, the frogs. They didn't have a bad thing to say about the frogs. Yeah, they said that the frogs were like really really nice to them and everything. And it's like there was this guy from Norway that had moved there as a kid with his mother, and they could tell that he wanted out. And they felt bad. They said they felt bad about him, and it's just like the people that were nice to them, and they didn't. Yeah, and it's just so now they're just there doing their own thing.
Right on. I mean, if they're all there of their own free will and they can leave whenever they choose, then yes, by all means do that, because that's awesome. But when you're forced to stay and be a slave, that's not awesome. But I mean, yeah, if you choose to be there and choose to do the work and choose to do all this stuff and knowing what's, and that's your thing.
Well, you got to think a lot of these people. I mean, it's good that the authorities in South Carolina are just kind of leaving them to their own devices. but I'm pretty sure they're keeping an eye on them at the same time.
I mean, that shit could turn real quick. Again, all you need is the right person to show up.
Yeah, one person. Yep.
And then it's then it's all back to where it started.
It's a cult again. Yeah, I mean it might. I don't know. I kind of want to go up there and just
see what they're all about.
Have a look. If I'd have to do some more. Yeah, as somebody that could have wound up in a very similar situation.
Your curiosity about it. There's only one reason I'd go there.
Yeah.
And we discussed that already.
Well, I'd piss on his grave too. I'd put a rose on Craig Mack's grave. I mean, that guy was just in a really bad place,
and he got seduced
like
by
we were
the
talking
dark
about.
side.
He got seduced by the dark side. Yep. I mean, I don't get it, but I just don't understand why somebody would. Yeah, it's just. I've been homeless before, and even then, I'm at fucking rock bottom, and all that stuff. Even then, at fucking rock bottom, and it was in when I was living in the Low Country in South Carolina, like after, like shit crashed and burned for me when I was when I was living in Hilton Head. So I found a freaking campground and I just bought a freaking tent and kind of lived out of my Ford Aerostar. But I was like an hour away. This was like 2004, 2005. So, I mean, that cult was still going on at that time with RG and the fucking, in charge of it and everything. But you know what? If I had found out about it, I'd be like,
right.
fuck no, that's a cult.
I got my campground in my Ford Aerostar, dude. I'm good.
Yeah. And I've got a shower that I get to take a hot shower every night.
You don't have to bathe in rainwater.
So if somebody had come to me and said, "Hey, notice you're down on your luck. You're living out of your van. Well, all you have to do is give that van to my boss over here, and you can live with us and give yourself a sponge bath and dirty fucking rainwater every night." Sign me up! Yeah, right. I would be like, you have no freaking clue who you're talking to right now.
Right.
But anyway. All right, let's wrap this. Their website is overcomerministry.org if you want to take a look at it. And it's there are recorded prophecies of his. I listened to a little bit of it, but I haven't heard it all.
I don't think I'll check that out because that's just not my thing. And plus, here's the thing too, though. We also have the advantage of living in the day and age that we do to know that not that we wouldn't have known all that was bullshit to begin with, but we know all that's bullshit because we're still here.
Yeah, and I meant to bring this up earlier when I was digressing and everything, but I got sidetracked.
You digressed in your digression.
Imagine that. Yeah, I digressed on my digression. But this whole thing about like giving everything that you own over. I remember reading an interview with a survivor of Waco with David Koresh. And it's just like, the guy was a musician. The
right.
survivor being interviewed was a musician. And he had to give his guitar up to David Koresh. Like it like just handed over, and then he said something along the lines of like, and like a month or two later, David came up with me. Yeah, he's like, David came up to me and he says, "Hey, I want you to listen to this this thing that I came up with." Now, David Koresh was a musician as well, but he was a decent guitar player. But when they walked into where the music was, fucking David Koresh picks up that dude's guitar and starts playing.
I'd have beat some ass, dude. I would have straight up beat
on
some
his
ass.
fucking guitar. I know. It's just like, it's just like, okay, it's just, you're picking this up like it's yours after you fucking stole it
somebody's
from me?
Ass would have been fucking beat. Right then and there, dude. There'd have been no mercy.
If somebody says, okay, I know. I mean, that wasn't.
Yeah, he did it on purpose.
That was done on purpose.
See, I'm the boss here. Go fuck yourself.
Right. Exactly. And it's just like, I'm sorry if you want me to, if the price of me joining your obligation is my most prized guitar.
Yeah, you could have my guitar when you pry it from my cold dead hands.
Well, I might give you my Ibanez Geo, but you're not getting my fucking Gibson or my Ibanez
I'll
RG.
give you one of my cheap guitars. Here, you can have that.
Yeah, you ain't getting my Ibanez RG or my
Gibson Les Paul. I wouldn't even give up one of my cheap guitars. Fuck that, dude. The cheap guitars fucking rule. Piss off. Go fuck yourself. You want my guitar? Dude, go buy your own fucking guitar. You got more money than I do.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you don't need my fucking guitar. It's just like, as a musician, when I read that story about, David Koresh and everything, and it was just like, it was like on a Reddit page or something like that. I mean, it wasn't part of any podcast or documentary or anything like that. And it's just like, I read that, and just like, he's like, "Hey, check out this new lick that I came," and he grabs the dude's own fucking guitar that he had surrendered and plays the fucking lick to it.
Like I said, dude, I would have stomped some ass right then and there, dude. I would have taken that guitar right out of his hands, not even caring, and I would have beat him to fucking death with it. I would have grabbed one of his guitars and beat him to death, and then grabbed mine and hauled ass. Yeah, dude. Dude. Heat of the moment, man.
I would have beat him to death.
Dude. I would have pulled that thing right from his fucking hands and beat him to fucking death with it. Dude, it's heat of the moment, man. I wouldn't have been thinking straight.
Well, it doesn't say what kind of guitar. It didn't say what kind of guitar it was, but if it was a Gibson Les Paul, it wouldn't have hurt the guitar.
Reminds me of this joke.
It wouldn't have hurt the guitar one bit.
This woman's on trial for beating her husband with his guitar. And the judge goes, "First offender?" And she goes, "No, first a Gibson, then offender."
First a Gibson, then offender. Yeah. Oh, man. God, what a fucking incredible story, man. There's no.
Yeah, that was a good one. I wasn't expecting it to go where it went.
No, and that's why I didn't say anything about Craig Mack at the beginning of it. Totally. It's just like,
I mean, this is another one too where I wasn't told to stay in the dark on this one. I just didn't do any research on it, so I was hearing it the first time.
Yeah, you didn't have time to research.
And it's a.
Yeah, well, I heard it for the first time just a couple days ago, which is crazy because I lived near where the shit was going down. And wow. I mean, it's just, and I wanted to do this. It's just like, this was a fun episode to cover. And the story. Hopefully the story winds up getting blown up like Jonestown or David Koresh or whatever and everything. But it's I don't know. This is the second cult that we've done, and it is another lesser known cult. just like the first one that we did. Although this one
Yeah,
is going to
right?
be 2 parts, but but it's just like this. It's like how did it get lost in the shuffle or something like that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the guy, this guy was smart, dude. He used all available technology as soon as it came out. It's like, dude, I don't understand how nobody's ever heard of, why this doesn't get around more. I mean, dude, the guy was on the internet.
I know.
When the internet, he was, I just don't, I don't understand. It's weird. I don't know.
Our episode will be the 3rd.
Maybe it's because they didn't commit suicide
in
whatever.
On Spotify.
You know what I mean? Maybe it's just because it didn't have that fucking dramatic fucking everybody died ending, so nobody gave a shit or whatever.
True. I mean, when we're going to get into some of the more well-known ones at some point, like the Anthill Kids. Like the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints and all that stuff, and that some of those stories are just fucking gruesome, like bizarro fucking world compared to this one in Faith Assembly and all that stuff. I mean, we're gonna do Jonestown at some point, but that'll be years later because that's the cult. That and Heaven's Gate and the Branch Davidians are probably the 3 most covered cult.
Well, they're the most famous.
So, we'll get...
Because everybody died.
We'll get to them at some
These cults where not everybody dies is like, they don't get as famous because nobody fucking died. Well, you know what I mean, though. They didn't go out in a blaze of glory committing suicide. So a lot of... It's like... You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
When we were doing... When we were doing the Faith Assembly and everything, I had it in my notes and everything, and you started talking about, you alluded to this, and I actually had it in my notes to talk about the fact that while it was like 100-something people died in Warsaw, at the Warsaw, Indiana branch of Faith Assembly, the home branch, but when you consider all the people that died at all the satellites throughout the United States and the rest of the world and everything, Faith Assembly probably has a higher body count than Jonestown. Yeah, it's just like you started talking about, and then we got sidetracked and everything. And I guess it just bears, yeah. it just needs to be mentioned and everything. And while I don't think that this cult's death body count is anywhere near what Jonestown or Faith Assembly was, but it's still probably pretty high. We're probably talking over 300. 300 people that died of, there's no word, that Say What You Mean podcast, they didn't say exactly how many graves were in that graveyard. I'm curious. I want to know.
That's something that they don't let the fucking general public see. You know what I mean?
Well, if we talk about the fact that we're a podcast,
then they'll probably no, you guys can't come in here at all. Then
I don't know.
Wait, which podcast do you guys do? You're those guys? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, there's no fucking way I'm letting you in here, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Up.
You and your asshole friend, too. Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Hey, I'll give you my guitar, bro. Let me in.
Anyway. Okay. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. Todd, tell them about your band.
80s kind of pop cover band called Retroactive Days. We are on Facebook. You can find us there. Our schedule is up. If you ever happen to be in the Brevard County area and you want to come see us, just check it out. If we're playing somewhere near you, come on out, say hi, and I'll buy you a beer and we can sit and talk. Come up, say hi, tell me you listen to the podcast, then I'll buy you a beer. You have to tell me you listen to the podcast because, this doesn't count for, people that I know. Just like, hey, dude.
Well, what if I came up and said, hey, I don't listen to your podcast, I host it with you?
Dude, we've been friends for a long fucking time. It'd be rude if I didn't buy you a beer.
I appreciate that, bro. My music, it's on Spotify and all other platforms and everything, under Bill Selby, and I'll have links for that. For that, Todd's band and all that stuff. I'm going to post one link that's to our website, and all the links will be there on the About page. It just makes it easier, so I don't have to keep posting like an individual link. Todd's band, Bill's music, blah blah.
Yeah,
we
blah, have
blah,
a website
blah, blah,
for that now.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier, and
it's so cool.
So, anyway, yeah, it is. I'm still having problems with the frickin' ckcbpodcast.com domain, but the generic link, it'll work and everything. And even once I do get the regular domain squared away and figured out, the link will still work. You know what I mean? The generic link that'll still work. So so anyway, we're gonna get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening. I mean,
we're getting there.
Show's growing. Show's growing. We're getting there. Y'all are digging the show. Nope. Give us a comment on like iTunes or Apple or Spotify, or you can't comment on Spotify. Just just give us a rate and review if you can. And everything we appreciate it. And if you give us a 1-star, tell us why you think it's a 1-star.
Dude, I don't know if
we'll read it on the air.
Those platforms work like YouTube, but on YouTube, if you give us a thumbs down on YouTube, it's still an interaction and it still helps us with the algorithm. So we're not on YouTube yet, but that's the way YouTube works. I don't know if that's how these other platforms work.
Well, you can leave comments on Apple,
but you know what I mean. Though, like, dude, it's like even if you don't like it and you give us a thumbs down, it's still an interaction and it helps us in the algorithm.
Right. Yeah, we don't care if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. Yep. So anyway, until next week. Later.
Cheers, everybody.